Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, SunX, and with me today, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
That's right, Grumpy. That is you. So before we get into each and every one of our shows, we got to go over some housekeeping first. If you guys enjoy the content over here, and even if you don't, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, so we can juice up that algorithm and get this show out to as many Islanders fans and NHL fans as possible. I want everybody watching this show. Usually try and host this show every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you guys do enjoy the content over here, you can check us out on our other channel that we have, which is the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man Show. And yes, I know TJ is no longer involved with that show. Should be the SunX and Grumpy Old Man Show.
You have to show up every week if you want to get a show named after your ex.
Wow. Man can't even call out sick one day. Whew. It's tough crowd around here. All right.
Just sit there and talk. That's all you do.
Okay. But yeah.
It's not like you're, I don't know, climbing the Himalayan mountains or anything like that. You're just sitting in a chair and you're talking. That's all you're doing.
Okay. Anyway.
Thank you for shaving today, by the way. I'm sure this is not a look that most people see. A clean shaven ex. Looks like your hair looks like it's combed a little bit too.
It's long. I need to get a cut.
Hippie.
Okay. Anyway, we usually host that show every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you enjoy the content over here, go check us out on that other channel as well. And that's everything under the sun. We talk all sports, media, entertainment, all that kind of stuff, all that good stuff. So come check us out. Join us. Yeah. So, Grumpy, it's moves that were made.
Yeah. You going to run them down for us, X?
Yeah, I'm going to share this one right here real quick.
Okay.
Can you read that?
Yeah. The Islanders have traded Maxim Siplikov. That was one of your favorites, wasn't it?
Sip was my favorite going into the season.
And again, put yourself on mute before you cough.
Okay.
I don't care if you cover your mouth, but make sure you put yourself on mute.
All right.
For Oldman Palat, a 2026 third and a 2027 sixth. And we also had to eat his contract for 2 years. Yep. Not just this year, next year's also. For 2 years. We got, and they took Maxim Siplikov off our hands. Whoop-de-doo. For a third, and we also got a third and a sixth. I couldn't remember the last time the Islanders have made such a dumb, stupid trade, actually.
And that's what here a former member of the show says is we sold Siplikov at his lowest point, got too little for taking on that bad contract of Palat. It's not an apples to apples comparison, but two and a half years ago, we had to give up our 2026 second round pick to get rid of 1 year of Josh Bailey's contract. Palat has another year. And then it says,
Is there a reason you are interrupting when I'm talking about that?
I was just adding into the conversation.
Why don't you wait until I finish talking instead of interrupting me?
Okay.
I was thinking, when was the last time we made such a bad, horribly bad trade? And I had to rack my brain. And then I thought, how far back do I have to go for a horrible trade where we wound up picking up only a third and a sixth round pick for taking on $6 million in cap space for each of the next 2 years? And then I thought, oh, I remember Monday when we acquired the useless Carson Soucy and gave up a third round pick, which was just as equally horrible from the fucking failed general manager, Matthew Darche. I'm done with him. Absolutely done with him. He's a loser. He's a loser. There's a reason why no one wanted him as a general manager all those years he was in Tampa. He wouldn't even get courtesy interviews. There's a reason. Peter Pickleball, that's where he should just stay. He's a horrible, horrible, useless general manager. You remember what I said when I first came on the show, when I talked, boy, we traded old, bald, and dumb for young, bald, and dumb? I stick with that. Absolutely stick with that. This team has no direction. Absolutely none. We named the show 3 Mile Island because this organization is freaking toxic. You might as well take a shovel to it and bury it, like that old 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant in Pennsylvania. That's what it's like. There's no direction for this team. We're going to go through his ridiculous press conference during this podcast today.
Can I ask a quick question? What do you feel should have been the value that was on Siplikov based off of his current performance?
I don't care about Siplikov. Why are you trading for a 35-year-old, useless, totally cashed winger who used to play for Tampa Bay 5 years ago? Why are you trading for that guy who was a bottom pairing guy for the New Jersey Devils? They couldn't give his contract away.
So you'd have been cool if they just traded him for the picks instead, and just did a straight up deal, just the picks for Siplikov?
Siplikov has no value either.
I'm aware. I guess so. Your only frustration and I guess issue with the deal was the fact that we took on an older player and his contract is expensive.
We're trading draft picks. It means when you're making deals like this, it means you're not moving JG Pajot. You're not moving Andersley. You're not moving Tony DeAngelo. You're not moving Pellick or Pulak. You're not moving anyone off this team. It means you're going to add more people to this team. That's what it means.
Unless we have absolutely no shot to make the playoffs, come trade.
It doesn't matter. They're going to have to come in third in the Metro to make the playoffs. The Metro was so awful is the only reason the Islanders have a shot of making the playoffs this year. The only reason. And I think Columbus is going to pass us, honestly. I think Columbus is going to beat us out. And I think Pittsburgh is going to we're going to be on the outside looking in. And I don't know if you remember, just 3 weeks ago, I said, worst case scenario is this asshole said we're going to keep everybody or we're going to invest in this useless team that just hasn't deserved to win, honestly. They were on that road trip. They got 7 points on a road trip. They didn't even deserve 1 point. It was so dominated. Absolutely dominated.
Yeah, so Columbus.
You don't invest in a team that looks as horrible as they do. Okay. Yep.
Columbus is 6 points behind us right now.
Well, it'll be 4 after tonight. Or maybe they got a game in hand because they're winning as well, Columbus.
Yeah, they do have a game in hand.
Columbus is going to catch us. Columbus is going to catch this team. You watch. Columbus is going to catch the Islanders. So again, why are you investing in a team that's old? I mean, and just really not that good, right? If it was not the Sorokin show and the Schaefer show every night, this team doesn't win any games. It tells me he has no idea what he's doing as a general manager. Clueless. This is what Lamoriello did too. Same stupid things. No future for this team. None.
My thing is you should look at it. If you have no shot to beat the Hurricanes this year, you should not go all in. mean, that's the team you're inevitably gonna have to face, right? You're gonna have to face the Hurricanes, and if you can't beat them, what does it matter? They haven't been able to touch the Canes all year.
They're not going to beat the Hurricanes.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
They're not even going to beat Pittsburgh. Look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is selling pieces, and they're still winning. You don't see Pittsburgh saying, hey, let's go all in again.
I think Pittsburgh is trying to stink, but they just keep playing well.
They're not trying to stink. You know what they do? They added Chinnikov, a guy from Columbus, right? They wound up giving a second and a third round pick for a 23-year-old. I mean, and he's playing lights out for them since he went over there. There was a numbers problem in Columbus. That's the only reason he got moved, right? I mean, they're moving pieces. They know that they're not good enough. Only this stupid Islander general managers the last 30 years, none of them, think about it, X. I'm going to go back and let's just do a history of the Islander GM since Milbury came in. Milbury comes in what, 1995? There a number of years, never gets another job in the NHL. Gives a job to Neil Smith. He was there for 40 days. He realized how dysfunctional the Islanders were. And you know what he did? He quit after 40 days. That's it. He never got another job in the NHL. Garth Snow comes in. He was there for a decade plus. He gets fired, never gets another NHL job. Lou Lamoriello comes here, who was a Hall of Fame general manager. He comes to the Islanders. His career ends. That's it for him. He never gets an NHL job. Matthew Darche, he's going to be here who knows how long. He's never going to get another NHL job because he's a piece of garbage. He's a crappy general manager. I'm telling you right now, this team has no direction. He comes out and says, oh, well, like the Tampa Bay, I'm doing the Tampa Bay model, where, you got to add little pieces here and there. Okay. You know what?
Your team's already established.
Yeah, it helps when you have Steven Stamkos, Victor Hedman, Andrei Vasilevsky, Braden Point, and Nikita Kucherov, rolling all over your lineup every night. That sure helps. Ryan McDonough, all the guys that they had, they were a stud team. And look what they gave. Oh, they picked up Brendan Hagel. Yeah, you gave up 2 first-round picks for him. He was 23 at the time, or 24. He traded a first-round pick for Blake Coleman. These are the guys that he's bringing up. We added little pieces like that. Hagel was not a little piece. They got him from Chicago when they were having a fire sale. And then he comes out and he says, well, there might be other deals in the pipe, and, I'm not opposed to trading our first-round draft picks. What? What does it tell you? What does it tell you about the direction of the franchise? We just went through this for how many years with the old man? He ran us into the ground. And what's this guy? He's doubling down on suck? That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It seems like they just want to stay in the same exact level of suck.
Okay, you were lucky. The hockey gods gave you Matthew Schaefer. Lucky, jackpot lucky.
Do you think if they didn't have Schaefer, he'd be on the hot seat?
Darche?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, they don't get rid of general managers that quick?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. If Sorokin wasn't playing in God mode and Schaefer wasn't as good, he slowed down. He's obviously hit a little bit of a wall.
You think we'd be worse than the Rangers?
I think we'd be like the Rangers.
Okay.
The Rangers have given up. Rangers have given up. It's so obvious. Panarin didn't play today. Like I said, the Hartford Wolfpack is who we're playing tonight. Spencer Martin, that come over from the Russian league. They just brought him over. He's like a freaking pitchback. You throw a ball at it, just bounces right back to the middle.
He spits him right up the middle.
My gosh, he's like a Pez dispenser with those rebounds he gives up. He's living inside the net. There's a reason why he was playing in Russia, not in the United States. He sucks. They're so banged up. Shesterkin's out. Fox is out. And they're a team that's absolutely totally tanking right now.
Do you think there's a possibility they could get McKenna?
Absolutely. Yes. I could see Gavin McKenna going there. Yes, I could.
Dang.
Corn promise. Corey Proman just had his latest rankings for the draft right now, and he has Gavin McKenna 4th.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he dropped. I remember they said that he dropped due to, I think it was like his work ethic or something, right? People didn't like his work ethic.
He doesn't play a two-way game at all. He likes a cherry pick.
A lot of guys do that, though.
He's got skill. Well, you know what? Not guys who make it in the NHL. We already got a couple of those. We already got an Anthony Duclair on this team.
He's been playing really well in the power play.
Let me tell you something. Okay. Against Buffalo, when the Islanders got just curb stomped by the Sabres, another team that has just passed us by. Now, you know what they did? They promoted Jarmo Kakalainen, the guy who I wanted as general manager for our team. They promoted him from assistant GM to GM. All of a sudden, Buffalo can't lose. There's a reason. You'll see a guy like that make a deal at the deadline. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if he fleeces the Islanders for some used part. That wouldn't shock me at all. That was the thing. He's not afraid to make deals, Kakalainen. Everybody's on their toes in Buffalo now. They are in 3rd place in the Atlantic Division. They've been damn good. And like I said, they just curb stomped the Islanders. Absolutely. The Flyers are done and dusted.
They're on a 4-game win streak, the Sabres.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, but I think they've only lost like 2 or 3 games in like the last month and a half.
Yeah, they're like 7-2-1.
That's the last 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're a bunch of young guys. So
if you can get a good core group of young players that come up together and play, for a while together, you can build yourself a really nice team. I think that's kind of what you're seeing with the Sabres, because they've been young for the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, but they didn't have a GM who could make a move or even knew what he was doing. Kevin Adams. It might as well have been Matthew Darche was the GM of the Buffalo Sabres. Because Kevin Adams sucks too. He stayed there way, way too long. I knew as soon as they hired Kakalainen as whatever he was, an assistant to the ownership or whatever, I'm like, that guy's not going to last out the year. I knew it immediately. When they brought in one of the Stahl boys as an assistant GM, I said, there's his replacement. Nope, it was Kakalainen. And as soon as Kakalainen gets a job, Mark Bergevin, the other guy who I wanted for the Islanders, comes over from the Kings to work for him. You know what? They both interviewed for the Islander job. They looked at the ownership, and the ownership, I don't know what ownership told them or what they told ownership, but they left saying, we don't want this job. No general manager who's any good wanted the Islander job. That's why they had to go for some piece of trash like Matthew Darche.
So you think it comes down to ownership?
A guy who couldn't even get an interview with any other teams.
So you think it comes down to ownership? Ownership's the issue?
I don't know if ownership's the issue, but
I mean, what else could it be? There's nobody else up top of the GM.
Well, these owners don't know what they're doing.
Well, the GM's answer to the owners.
Well, before it was just Lamoriello.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, why would somebody come in who would have essentially, you'd have to think, complete control over the operations for the hockey team?
Maybe this guy looked like Lamoriello. Maybe this guy just looked, bald, stupid look on his face. Maybe he just looked like Lamoriello, just a younger version, like, oh, you're our guy. Like I said,
What I was saying is, what makes you think that the other people who came in and interviewed for the jobs left saying, I don't want to be here? I mean, it would have to be the owners.
Because his team has no direction. And I don't think the ownership wanted to go through a rebuild.
See, and that's my point, though. Then it does come down to ownership. Ownership is the issue.
Well, here's the thing. But if Matthew Darche comes in and says, oh, no, this team is really close to being.
Well, yeah, if he kisses his ass and then he's going to get the job, sure. But what I'm saying is, if ownership are the ones who are delusional enough to think that the team is Stanley Cup worthy, and they're telling, people who are coming in interviewing for the GM job, hey, we don't want to make any big changes to the team. We don't want to rebuild. We feel like that we got a good core group of guys to go win a cup. Then that's ownership is the problem, not general manager, because they hired the guy that they wanted, who's just going to be a yes man. Then yeah, sure. But the real underlying issue is then ownership.
I don't even think they know what they want to do. I don't think they don't even know what they don't know. That's what I think.
But then I guess, why would somebody who comes in for an interview not be like, well, here, I can show you what you need to do. I don't think that's where I guess my confusion is if somebody comes in for an interview, what would, like, as you were saying, they were like, yeah, I don't want to be here. This is a bad situation. What would make that situation bad? To me, if somebody doesn't know what direction they want the team going in, well, that's the general manager's job, is to direct them in the right direction. It's literally your whole job, is to try and pick players, get players for your team, point them in the right direction. So I don't understand why a GM would interview for a position and then, unless ownership, told him, hey, it's this way or you're not getting the job.
If maybe you come in and you sell the ownership. Well, I want to build the Tampa Bay model, where we go and do this, that, and the other thing. Okay. Is there anybody on the Islanders who's Nikita Kucherov? Anyone?
No.
Is there anyone on the Islanders?
Stamkos, no.
Who's Stamkos? Is there anyone in the Islanders who's Vasilevsky?
No.
He's not Vasilevsky.
Sorokin's damn good.
He's not Vasilevsky.
He's up there.
He's not Vasilevsky. He's not Vasilevsky.
Well, hold on. Let me ask this. Who do you think's been facing more shots year in, year out? Vasilevsky or Sorokin?
Vasilevsky, he's a better goalie than Sorokin. He's a better goalie than Sorokin. He absolutely is.
You single-handedly said Sorokin keeps us in games.
He single-handedly won, I think, 8 or 9 consecutive series. The last game were shutouts to close out games.
How many shots was he facing, though?
It doesn't matter how many shots.
Well, it does. If he's facing 3 shots a night, it's not really that much work, right?
Okay, that's not the case. I mean, why don't you look up the number of shots that he faced in the playoffs? Why don't you do that instead of asking me the question? Because if you want to ask those questions, you have the answer for me. Don't expect me to know that off the top of my head.
Come on, you are the NHL analyst and expert, Grumpy.
I'm just telling you,
Vasilevsky. Up to your name.
Vasilevsky's a better goalie than Sorokin. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Maybe a novice such as yourself doesn't know it, but anybody with a hockey brain knows it. And here's the thing. Is there any Island defenseman who's as good as Victor Hedman? No. Nope. Not at all.
Schaefer could be there one day.
He's not, right? He's not. Okay. Schaefer isn't 6'4", 2 whatever, who plays, 28 minutes a night. Victor Hedman's been, he's a Hall of Famer, right? Schaefer might get that to be that, but Hedman is. And it's real easy to make little ad pieces. And
he faced around 30 shots a night.
Who did, Vasilevsky?
Yeah, 30 shots a night.
Okay, well, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so that shoots whatever ridiculous theory you had, that shoots it out of the water, right? Let's be honest, right?
It says he said he had a total of 3,608 shots over 120 games in the playoffs.
Yeah. So he faces a lot of rubber.
Yeah. I mean, 0.918 save percentage and a 2.45 goals against average.
And look at them.
His career playoffs. He's really good in Stanley Cup, in their 2021 Stanley Cup run with a 937 save percentage and a 1.9 goals against average. That's really good.
Now, when Vasilevsky has stinkers, he has stinkers, but I'll tell you, he'll come back and pitch a shutout the next game. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
And I'm not arguing with you there. I'm not saying that. I think Sorokin's really good, and I think if Sorokin, here's what I'll say: if Sorokin was in a different situation and on a different team, I think you'd be singing a different tune about how good he is.
Okay, but he's not. He's on this lowly franchise.
Sure,
the 3 Mile Islanders. That's who he's on.
I compare it the same way with certain players in other sports too, where it's like you can't pick the situation you're in. You're drafted to a team and you're stuck there unless you request a trade. Certain guys could maybe be a lot better on another team than the current team they're on.
Or unless you hit free agency.
Yeah.
I mean, and then is there anyone on the Islanders who's even Braden Point? No, there aren't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, their team was elite.
You can say that you want to build your team like Tampa. Tampa could trade away first-round draft picks year after year after year when they were on top, winning Stanley Cups, not just contending for a playoff spot.
Going for a three-peat.
Right. I mean, and look at what they've done. In 2 years, I remember watching them that last year, the Cup against Colorado where they lost, they looked like they'd been worn down, honestly. And then you saw the next year, they looked old and slow. They looked really, really slow. and even the year after that, then they turned their whole team over, and they're young and fast again. They got rid of all their secondary pieces, the Blake Colemans that they had, the Yanni Gords, all those guys that they dumped. They got rid of the older guys and backfilled with younger guys or making smart deals to bring in younger players. Do you think Matthew Darche is capable of doing that? I'm just looking at the return he got back for a guy who has 2 years left on his contract at $6 million per this year and next year, and all he got was a third and a sixth. That's all he got. That's it. A third and a sixth. Look at what Josh Bailey. What do we have to give up? And that's $6 million a year for this rest of the season and next year. Josh Bailey, it was a second-round pick, this year's second-round pick that we don't have this year. For what, $5 million of 1 year?
Here was the Josh Bailey trade that was made.
Second-round pick to get rid of for a salary dump. Because let's be honest, Andre Palat was a salary dump for Jersey.
Yes.
They dumped him on us. Why? So they could make moves in the offseason. That's why they dumped him on us. And Matthew Darche was stupid enough to not even get a second-round pick for him, or maybe 2 seconds. Because let's look at the Andrew Ladd trade. What did we give up to get rid of Andrew Ladd? Do you remember? Two twos and a 3 for 2 years at $5.5 million. We just took on 2 years at $6 million. All we got was a third and a sixth. And we gave up 2 twos and a 3 to get rid of Andrew Ladd. Think about that. Think about that.
Yep, their picks were a 2021 second-round pick, 2022 second-round pick, and a 2023 conditional third-round pick.
So we traded 2 twos and a 3 to get rid of 2 years of Andrew Ladd. That's what we did. That's what we did. That was a salary dump for us to Arizona. We paid for that. 2 twos and a 3. What did the Devils pay for their salary dump? Oh, a third and a sixth for $6 million for the next 2 years. That's why he's a failed general manager. I was waiting. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. What's he going to do? If you're going to move guys off your roster, you're not doubling down on this team. You can't possibly double down on this team that's outplayed every single night unless you're playing the Hartford Wolfpack or the Philadelphia Flyers. That's it. You're not beating anybody good. You were dominated in every single game on the West Coast trip. You look like Bridgeport. That's how bad you played on the West Coast trip. I don't care how many points you got, how many Sorokin points you got. I don't care. You were outplayed and dominated. Carolina's going to come and ass blast the Islanders. If it's not Pittsburgh first. Yeah. It's probably Pittsburgh first. And if it's Carolina again, that's a sweep. That's an absolute sweep just waiting to happen.
Well, that's kind of what my stance is. It's like, if you are not good enough to beat Carolina, what does it matter? What does it matter about making it to the playoffs this year? If you know the team's not good enough to beat Carolina, why would you bother going all in? Just to get in, I mean, just to get obliterated by Carolina. It's just, to me, it's just foolish.
Lamoriello did the same thing every year, just trading away first-round picks because, hey, maybe we can make the playoffs.
Unless you just really want to get that playoff revenue, which is honestly, I think, the only thing the ownership cares about, if I'm being honest. That's my only logical thought on why you would want to go all in, just to lose to Carolina, is just to make the playoffs and get some additional revenue from the season.
Well, that's
got to be it.
Again, like I said, I watched that West Coast trip, and I even said on the last show, I'm like, there's no way you invest in this team. No way you invest in this team.
You're not good enough to beat Carolina. That means you're not good enough to make it to the cup. Your end goal is to make it to the cup. Your end goal should not be, hey, we made the playoffs. The Steelers have been doing that for years, and their fan base is pissed about it because you never get good picks out of it. You're never picking in the top. You're never going to get the great players that are available. Your team's not going to change. You're going to be the same stagnant team for 10, 15 years. Like, sometimes you have to take those bumps and those really crappy seasons to go ahead and make your team better overall for the long run. You just have to. You got to think long term.
Well, that's what a good GM would do. This hammerhead obviously isn't doing that. Oh, you know what? I believe in the guys. This was investment in the guys in the room. What? You pay them money. That's your investment in them. You're giving them cash to
play.
float around on the ice every night. How about you invest in the fans? How about you do that?
Yeah.
How about you pretend like you want this team to be good for a number of years?
And now I'll say, I know there are a lot of fans that are out there who love making the playoffs, and that's, they're like, oh, well, you know what? At least we made the playoffs this season. That's awesome. I know there's a lot of people who have that mindset, but as a fan who wants to see their team win and hoist hardware at the end of the year, that's not a conducive mindset to do that. Just ask the Steelers. They're the same exact way. Just good enough to squeak into the playoffs every year and lose in the first round.
Terrible.
Do I can pull up that article for you, Grumpy, if you want to move into that segment.
Yeah, let's do that.
I know you're heated right now, so
it's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's worst case scenario.
I can zoom in if you need me to.
Yeah, you're going to need to make that. Yeah, there we go. The Islanders have shown Matthew Darche some promise during the first 52 games of the year. So the GM showed them a little something in return. Faith. You know what? Who talks like that? Losers talk like that. That's why Darche swung a pair of move over the pair of days, acquiring Carson Soucy from the Rangers. He sucked. He was the worst defenseman on the Rangers, bottom pairing guy. And forward, Darche Palat from the Devils. Okay, Darche Palat, you're going to be 35 years old, like in a couple of weeks. 35-year-old who's put up 9 points this year for the Devils. He's the bottom 6 guy for the Devils. Devils team that can't score, he's a bottom 6 guy. Right? That's what he was. I want to reward the players for putting us in this position to go to the playoffs. These are 2 players that will help us as we push toward the playoff. What a loser. What a freaking loser. What a loser this guy is. The farm system has nothing in it. Nothing. You got the first round bust from a couple of years ago, Cole Eiserman. You got Keyshawn Aitchison, who looks like a pissant out there against men. He's good against little boys, but he looks like nothing against men. And you got Victor Eklund, who's struggling in the Swedish league. And now we're talking about maybe trading first round picks as well. Whatever first round picks we have, stop. The Islanders are currently in third in the Metro with 61 points, 2 back of second place Pittsburgh, and 4 points ahead of the Flyers, who currently sit outside the wild card position. Okay, there are no Metro teams making the wild card this year. No wild card teams out of the Metro this year. None. Absolutely none. Right now, the Islanders are 8th in the conference. I don't know if it's before this game or not, but they had the 8th best record in the 8th most points in the conference, even though they'd be 3rd in the Metro. They're not going to. There is no wild card teams coming out of the Metro. None. The only reason the Islanders are even potentially sniffing a playoff spot in the Metro is because the Metro is really terrible this year. Really, really bad. And then you got your boy Andrew Ladd saying, we've gone out there and put ourselves in a spot where we're in position to have additions the rest of the way. You notice how he doesn't say, win for a Stanley Cup? No, just additions. Darche sees that, and he believes in this group just like we do. He's doing his best to make our team better. Another clown. He should already been moved too. If a vote of confidence was Darche's intended message, it was received and appreciated inside the Islanders locker room. As players in the room, you feel that confidence from up top, and you always want that during this time of year. Jonathan Drouin said, another bust. He was a bust free agent signing from Darche. He's going to be slurping on him, right? You know that. You hate when you see players go somewhere else. So it's nice to have Palat and Soucy to come in and help us build on what we're doing here. What? Being one of the worst teams in the league? Is that what you're building? One of the worst looking teams on the ice? I mean, it's like pulling teeth watching the games with the Islanders. They're so bad. Terrible. Scroll down, please. And then they go, what Palat has done, and oh yeah, we had him in Tampa. He didn't have shit in Tampa. First of all, he did absolutely nothing in Tampa. Nothing. It was Julian Breesbaugh's team. It was nothing to do with Matthew Darche. He was the guy who went out and got coffee. That's what he did. Hey, boy, get me my lunch. 2 sugars in that coffee. Remember, light milk. That was what Darche did. Where's my pastrami, Darche? Get it over here on your way over to pickleball court. That's what it was like in Tampa. He's obviously, and then Matthew Barcel says, Palat's obviously a good goal scorer. Really? Look at his stat. I'm going to look up his stats. Let's see. He's a good goal scorer. Is that what he said?
Yes.
His most productive year was 12 years ago. He had 23 goals. And then he had 18 in 21-22 and 17 twice. That's not a good goal scorer, just to let you know. That's not a good goal scorer. He's not. He's not a goal scorer. He's just not. And he's physical and thick like Palmieri. He's 6 foot tall. He's 6 foot tall, 187. Soucy is obviously a hard to play against D-man, kind of like Romanov. Yeah, okay. Boy, there's a rousing endorsement. He's like Romanov, the worst player in the NHL before he went out and got injured. The worst player in the NHL before he got injured. But you know what? We had to replace that worst player in the NHL with a guy who's equally as bad and gave up a 3rd-round pick to get him. So in essence, here's what the trade comes down to. They moved Siplikov, and they got Soucy, Palat, and a 6th-round pick.
I would have much rather kept the pick instead of getting Soucy.
This team needs draft picks.
That's where I'm coming from. Is we've said it here before. You want as many kicks at the can as possible, especially with this upcoming draft. I would have rather more picks than acquiring another player who might not be good.
Okay, they're 30. He's 35. One guy's 35. The other one's 31.
Well, yeah, he's already established. I was talking. Yeah,
just these guys are nothings. They don't move the needle. They don't move the needle. Sorry, they don't.
They're a bunch of jags.
That's what they are.
Just
Palat, they both salary dumps. The Rangers dump salary on Soucy. He's a pending free agent. So you know what you do with pending free agents? You move them when your team isn't good enough.
Like we should have done with Tavares.
Like we should do with Lee and Pajot and D'Angelo. They're not going to do that. They're going to keep their over 30 crowd. How many years do you have to find out that those guys are just not the answer? This team hasn't won anything since 1983.
Been a minute.
Well, okay. No, 1984, they made Stanley Cup Finals. Okay? How many years has it been since the Islanders made it, to the Stanley Cup Finals? Or won a conference?
They made it close. Yeah. Against Tampa.
Close and no cigar, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So.
And keep scrolling, X. Okay. And they talk about, Soucy, his big thing is, this is good for us, because I don't have to uproot the family. Another guy that just, what it tells me? You don't give a shit if he wins or not. I don't have to move the family here. It's great. The Rangers, Islanders, what's the difference? Both teams suck. I can suck on, suck at Belmont as opposed to sucking at Madison Square Garden. What's the difference?
Well, that's how you know it's an issue with, I guess, what your culture of your team has been for years is the fact that no player that comes here ever once speaks or says anything remotely to, I'm ready to win games. I'm ready to be on a contending team. It's always, oh yeah, it's great. It'll be great for my family. We'll be close to where we live. The social life here is great. The team seems really family oriented. Everybody's friends with each other. It's never, hey, yeah, I'm going to a contender. I'm really excited to finally be on a contending team. Never that.
Look at what Anders Lee said. Look what he just said in this article. Go back up because I don't want to misquote him. Keep going.
Oh, sorry, it was up further.
Yeah.
Oh, right there.
Yeah. We've gone out there and got ourselves a spot with a position to have additions to the rest of the way here. He doesn't talk about winning the Stanley Cup. He believes in this group like we do, and he's going to do our best to make the team better. Nobody talks about winning a Stanley Cup on this team, ever.
Well, I think here's the thing. The players are not delusional. They know that they don't have a shot in hell of beating Carolina. So it's like, what are we playing for at the end of the day? I mean, you're just playing to get eliminated by Carolina or the Pens. And honestly, I will hand to God, I will say I did not expect the Penguins to be in the situation that they're in. I thought they were going to be the worst team in the Metro. Okay. The worst going into the season.
Here's the problem I have. Matthew Darche seemed to say, oh, well, if the team's in, looks like they could possibly contend for a playoff spot, all right, we're going to invest in the team. But what if they were, 40 points through these amount of games? Would he be invested in these guys, or would he be, okay, well, this team needs to be rebuilt, right? You know what it tells me? He didn't have a direction. He did not have a direction, one way or the other.
Well, you knew that as soon as he said that. They asked him earlier, I think in a previous, article that we had read on here, where they had asked him where he's leaning towards, and he said he hasn't made up his mind yet.
That tells me there's no direction he has no direction. Whatever way the freaking wind blows is the direction he goes.
I think honestly, it's whatever ownership tells him to do. That's what I think.
No, I don't think it's whatever ownership. Ownership doesn't know they don't know what they know. They don't know anything.
They know that they want to make it to the playoffs to get that additional revenue. That's what they know.
They don't even know what they don't know. That's what I'll say about ownership. They don't even know what they don't know. One guy lives in London. The other guy's a clown. What the hell's the difference?
Yeah, I'm just going to say I think they want to get that additional revenue for making the playoffs. That's all they care about. They don't care about the actual well-being of the team. They don't care about the fans. If they did, they would try and put a better product out there on the ice.
Terrible.
They would try and do the little things to make the team better.
You know what? This is totally overshadowed the Buffalo game where Patrick Roy benched the first line for the whole third period.
Yes.
So, I mean, whatever. And his statement was, back checking. That's, it doesn't take skill to back check. And he's right. It doesn't take skill to back check. But if you have Anthony Duclair on the line, well, there's one guy who's never back checking ever. He lives at the red line. That's what he does. Don't even put it up. I don't even want to see it. I don't even care.
Okay.
Every time we put that up, we demonetize our show every single time.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah. It's just honestly, it's frustrating being a fan of this team. It's frustrating because you're just more the same. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's what it is. This guy talks about, oh yeah, the GM job. I get to be with my kids. I get to see my kids more. The GM doesn't even talk about winning Stanley Cups. I get to be closer to my kids. That's what you wanted a GM? Good family man? I don't know. I wouldn't win Stanley Cups. Hey, here's the thing. Carolina, I mean, am I a Carolina fan? No. Carolina fans are frustrated because they can't get over the hump.
Yeah.
Right?
But their team's always in it, always a contender every year, though. It's not like they don't have a contending team.
But they need to do something to get over the hump. The last couple of years, to their credit, they've tried. But it's tough getting people to want to stay in Carolina.
Yep. It's not a big market.
Brandon didn't want to stay. Gensel didn't want to stay. They lowballed Gensel. So where does Gensel go? Oh, Tampa. How does Tampa fit these guys under the cap? They made hard decision. They moved Sergachev. And what do you know? They got guys. Moser comes up. All of a sudden, Radish comes up. And they're able to develop guys. When was the last time the Islanders developed a player to come into play on their team? Actually developed a player who's been more than a bottom pairing defenseman or a bottom six forward. You tell me. It's been forever. Forever. They didn't develop Schaefer.
No, he was already developed before he came
They
here.
didn't develop Sorokin. They didn't develop
Developed in
Barzal.
Russia.
Anders Lee, Brock Nelson. It's like 15 years ago. They don't develop anyone. It's frustrating, just so frustrating being a fan of this team and the lack of direction. Just no direction for this team. It's hard, really, really hard to root for this team. I know we want to jump into our ad read, and 6X disappeared for a while. I'm just going to jump in and start here. We're going to start with our DraftKings Pick 6 ad. It says every yard, every sack, every interception, every touchdown with Pick 6, DraftKings' newest game. Every snap can turn into a big-time payout. This isn't just watching the game. This is playing to win, something the Islanders don't do. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. It's that simple. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 1-800-887-8777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. And now we're going to go just to our regular DraftKings ad, which says the jaw-dropping moments that make hockey hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer. Okay, X, I don't know where you went to, but I decided to do the ad read. So there we go.
I'm going to go ahead and pull up some comments, Grumpy. You ready?
Okay, you read. Why don't you just read the comment there?
Okay. It says, you guys like the trade so far? Palat scored tonight. What are your thoughts there, Grumpy? I know you don't like the trade.
I could care less that he scored tonight. You're playing against an AHL team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, right?
Mm-hmm. The next one says, look like the Isles going to be buyers than going to be more buyers than sellers. I guess JG and Lee will be on the team for I want to be sellers. So we build on our future and get younger for the farm system.
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah, I wish it was happening, but yeah, unfortunately, no.
They just determined that's not something they're interested in doing.
Meeple Parm here says, good evening, Grump and Grump Jr. Grump Jr. Then James F. here says, speaking on the farm system, I'm hearing rumors that the Bridgeport Islanders are moving to Hamilton. Your thoughts?
Nobody goes to the Bridgeport games. There'll probably be more people going to Hamilton.
Yeah, could be.
Hockey hotbed.
And then Charles here says, X, what team did Mike Bossy score his 50th goal in 50 games against? Also, Grumpy, do you remember they called a bench minor on the Islanders for leaving the bench to celebrate? Ooh.
I didn't remember that offhand. But that's, again, put yourself on mute when you do that. And X, you know the team? I know you don't. It was the Quebec Nordiques.
Yeah, I never would have got that.
Never.
They don't even exist anymore.
Do you know who they are now, the Quebec Nordiques? The Colorado Avalanche. Okay. David Roska says, New York Islanders, what's up? Hello, David.
What's up?
Expos? Expos there?
Yes, it looks like Expos logo. Montreal Expos. Very nice.
Matthew Sklar says, good evening, gentlemen. Nice win Monday against Philly on my birthday. Another win tonight against the Rangers. That's true. 2 wins in a row. Should win tomorrow, too. Joshua Vath says, I would have rather seen Drouin go than Siplikov. He's not getting rid of Drouin. That's a guy he signed. He's going nowhere. Tony Cheeseworth says, what about all these times you were sick, Grump? I still showed up.
That's right, Grumpy. You were sick. You really called it a couple times. You were sick.
Still show up. Mr. B says the Quebec Nordiques, answering that question.
Mm-hmm.
Charles says last time the Islanders made a trade with the Rangers was 2010.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Freedom Fund Adventure says, how long did you not have power? I like both trades. Son X, have you noticed your dad and bro sometimes have an instant negative reaction?
Yeah, there's
Freedom,
a negative reaction. I said that I was sick and I couldn't do the show.
You're going to have to tell me what you liked about those trades. Trading for a 35-year-old, a $6 million contract for next year, and a just ham and egger defenseman, and giving up a third-round pick. I mean, what's to like? Tell me what's to like. Does it make the team better? Really? Matthew Sklar says we swapped third-round picks. Who cares? We need more picks, not less. We don't need to swap picks. We need more picks. Guggen says, Grumpy, does the situation stink? Did you drown your sorrows in your secret grape drink? I was aggravated today when he said he was willing to trade this year's first-round picks. If the right situation, I'm willing to move those picks. What's the right situation? Maybe he'll trade Connor
McDavid for a first rounder.
Maybe he'll trade the 2 first-round picks for Steven Stamkos. He used to be in Tampa.
Yeah, he used to be good 6 years ago.
Matthew Sklar says, basically traded Siplikov for Palat, a 6th-round pick, and added a net 3.75 cap hit for next year. Yeah, that's a loss. That's a loss. He was a salary dump. You should have got way more than that for a salary dump, because that's what it was, a salary dump. They couldn't acquire Quinn Hughes when he got moved to Minnesota because they didn't have the cash. They didn't have the money on hand. They had to dump Palat. That's all they tried to do all year, dump Palat. They had to find an imbecile who would take him. Enter stage left, Matthew Darche, imbecile. Joshua Vath says, I heard that was a Lamoriello trade. Darche knew Palat and wanted a Stanley Cup winner on the team. I heard that was. Well, that's the only Stanley Cup winner is going to be on this team. I can tell you that much. Freedom Fund Adventure says, Grumpy, Darche was a finalist for jobs. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He absolutely was not. He was never a finalist. Never. He interviewed once with Pittsburgh. And they took Dubas, who's done a really nice job turning Pittsburgh around.
Yeah. I thought they were going to be the worst team in the Metro.
They went all in his first year there, all in. Bringing in Carlson, a bunch of other old guys are like, hey, let's take one more run. Didn't work out. He slowly dismantled the team. You've seen he's done a great job. Think about it. Still has the core there. Still has the core. And like I said, I could see if you tried to invest in that core, Letang, Malkin, Crosby. Do we have any of those guys on this team? No. Those are the guys you invest in. And you know what else did he do? He dumped that piece of trash, Tristan Jarry. That made them better like tenfold, getting rid of him. Whatever you think about Stuart Skinner, He's better than Tristan Jarry. That much I know. Darche was a finalist for jobs before the Islanders. That's not true. He was a top assistant GM in the NHL and everyone. No, he's not. He did nothing in Tampa. Absolutely nothing. Believe me when I tell you that. I have sources that say that is just not true. The Islanders are blessed to have Darche. No, they're not. It's a curse. It's an absolute curse to have him. He has done a great job. No, he hasn't. He's sending us down the Lamarillo trail to failure. I mean, that's just it in a nutshell. He is going to bust out, and he'll never get another GM job after he gets fired from here. Never, ever. When you go to the Islanders and you get fired from here, no one in the NHL will touch you again. That's been proven over the last 30 years for NHL GMs. 30 plus years. Think about that. Joshua Val says, Soucy was because none of our young youth defensemen really stepped up. Well, why not? Why not? It's because we've been trading draft picks willy-nilly for the last 6 or 7 years, so nobody comes up. Why not go?
There's nobody to come up. That's why.
Why don't you try to sign somebody as a free agent in the offseason? You could have signed a Soucy guy and not given up a pick. There's a billion of those guys out in the ether in the offseason. A billion. They're all out there. There's nothing special about Carson Soucy. Absolutely nothing. You could have gotten any ham and egger to slide him into that spot. Freedom says, Grumpy Darche may be changing a locker room. He never said he's keeping guys. I don't even know what that means.
Like changing the culture in the locker room, maybe.
No. Well, I thought the culture was great in this room. That's what I've been hearing forever. Can't move anybody. It's all culture. Cul-de-sac crew. Drew says, I watched the press conference earlier. Darche said that it's not out of the possibility he'd trade away our first-round picks, but he'd have to be blown away from the author. Still, I don't like hearing that. Exactly. What does it tell you? It should tell you something. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He should have a direction. I don't care. This team is not good enough to compete. It's just not. And if you keep on trading for old guys and moving out draft picks, how are you going to get younger and better? How's that going to happen? Our farm system has no talent. None. Absolutely none. And you think trading draft picks is the way to go. Not me. Sorry. Drew says he better sell Pajot and Lee at the deadline. Otherwise, I'm changing my tune on him. Well, you might as well change that tune now because he ain't moving those guys. Mark Alberti says, we will beat Pittsburgh. I'm going to guarantee you we lose to Pittsburgh. Guaranteed. Freedom says, when SunX played sports, was his nickname the Raccoon? I could see that because he is always scavenging food wherever he goes. No. What was your nickname, X? Do you remember? Stick. That's right. Mark Alberti says 36-15 in shots versus the Rangers. Yeah, they're playing, like I said, they're Hartford Wolfpack. Freedom says, Grumpy, is it possible that you painted Darche with former GM sins and this is what they call a trauma response? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Joshua Vass says, Rangers are doing what we should be doing. Absolutely, yes, that is correct. And their roster was 10 times what the Islanders was. That's right. They know they're not good enough. They know they're not good enough. And you know what they're doing? We're going to, and they did it just a number of years ago. They sent out a letter to their fan base. Hey, we are rebuilding. Please be patient. And they did it. Now, it didn't turn out to win anything, but they got themselves to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they won a President's Trophy with that group. But, it didn't work out. You know what? Instead of doubling down on that team, which they did for a year or two, they did do that for a year or two, right? But then they came to the realization, and I don't think Chris Drury is a great general manager by any means. But he knows, this team just isn't good enough. Got to move guys. Panarin won't play for the Rangers again. Another roster management. That means he's on the verge of getting traded too. Who knows? Maybe Darche will trade for him. Give him 2 firsts and, his firstborn son to get Panarin in here for just a couple of months and then have him go somewhere else as a free agent. Maybe that's what he'll do next. Gugun says, Grumpy, if the Islanders organization publicly apologized to you, would you accept? Son X, have you ever pulled yourself out of debt Have you pulled yourself out of debt? I don't think X is in debt.
No, I don't have debt. Nope. Debt free.
Debt free X.
As of right now.
So. Yeah. And if he ever gets into debt, he just comes over my house and eats for free for a while.
There we go. And that's how you get yourself out of debt. That's the debt hack right there.
No living expenses incurred.
Go over to the Grumpy and Warden Mansion and you get free meals.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
Can't beat it. Freedom says, Son X, who are the other Islanders rookie who joined the Islanders late in the season for a playoff run with Pat LaFontaine? He would later become captain.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Actually, I don't remember who it is either. Matthew DiBernardo says, great game tonight. The whole arena was in Rangers suck chant at the end of the third, and it was loud. Love the Palat trade. Took on draft capital. Shed a bad player. Don't like AAV, but that's okay. See, but when we're taking on money, it means you can't do anything in the offseason.
Here's the thing. They should have traded Siplikov last year when he was obviously the best player on the team, as I had said earlier during our shows. He was obviously hand over heels the best player on the team. That's when you could have maximized your value. It was last year trading him. All right.
I remember hearing from certain members of the fan base how Siplikov's a first liner. I also heard Shabanov is a first liner. Everybody.
I said Sip, though. Sip was my boy.
Maggio, first liner. William DeFore, first liner. You know what? You know what they all turn out to be? Busts. Every single one of them. Busts.
Do you think it's just now? Do you think it's there's three things I want to put out here. Do you think it's GM picking the wrong guys, our actual farm system just not being good, and these guys not developing, or do you think it's just the players aren't good?
I think it's a combination of all three. The players obviously aren't good enough. We never develop anybody in Bridgeport, and our GMs suck. So it's all three.
I gave you a triple set right there.
That was easy. That was an easy answer. Gungun says, F it. Let's switch sports for a second. How underwhelming is this year's Super Bowl? Is it a foregone conclusion that the Seahawks will go for a victory stroll? Yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to crush the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree.
Crush them.
Also, sorry, I was not talking to my mic. I completely forgot to pick it back up when I got back. That's on me.
What a clown. This is Alexander, our friend. Dolphins, Knicks, Islanders, Mets. Good evening, gents. Big win tonight. This team is really good. No, it's not. It's not. You beat an AHL team tonight. No, they're not good. No. You know who's a good team? Look at the team ahead of you in the standings. Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, the Canes are good.
Freedom says, Son X, what do you need to realize that Corey Proman isn't good at his job? He is off. He's always fruity.
I don't know. Who is that?
Corey Proman is the guy. He works for The Athletic. He does NHL prospects thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
He and Scott Wheeler, they're both good. I think they're both good. Joshua Vatt says, I don't mind the trades except for the $6 million times 2 cap hit. Well, that is it in a nutshell. It's a salary dump. You need to get more. Like I said, $5.5 million for 2 years of Andrew Ladd was 2 2s and a 3. You got a third to 6th. That's bad, right? That's bad. They wanted to move Palat. Jack Wagon has a hard on for this guy because he used to play for Tampa Bay when he was picking up coffee and donuts for the team.
Let me ask you a question. This is not the same kind of team that like in years past where, you know, they have a cap minimum that you have to hit.
There is a cap minimum in the NHL.
I know, but I'm saying this isn't a team like where they're barely scraping by hitting the cap minimum. Is it?
This team? Islanders?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Okay. I just know in years past they were like that.
No.
Where they were so cheap they wouldn't buy anybody, and they'd be like they'd have to find somebody to pick up that cap minimum.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Gotcha. I just want to make sure. Because now the $6 million is bad.
Right. What's worse is what it says about where Darche's head is at. Yeah. I don't think he even knows where his head is at.
Do you think he's in over his head?
I think he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Well, I'm saying, do you think the situation maybe is too big for him? Maybe he's not ready to be a GM.
I don't think he's a GM, period. I don't think he's a GM, period. Nick Canetta says, if you look at the two trades as a whole, it's solid. They got a 6th, Palat and Soucy, and moved up in the third for Siplikov. Maybe. Grump, you've been saying take on bad contracts and get picks They just did that. No, they did. They got a 6th-round pick. A 6th-round pick is not taking on picks. Look at the deals we had to make to move guys. A 2nd for Bailey, which we're still paying for. That's this year's 2nd. We don't have a 2nd. Then 2 2s and a 3 for 2 years of Andrew Ladd. We got a 6th. We got a 6th. No, that's bad management. If you would have told me that Palat was going to give you a couple of 2s and a 3, okay, fine. A 6th? No. And move up a couple of spots in the 3rd? No. Matthew Sklar says, you're overacting. Go, no, I'm not. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'll say it again, everyone will come to see that I'm right again.
You were right on Sorokin. I'll give you that. You were right on Sorokin.
Let me tell you something. I'm never wrong on these big picture items, ever. I don't look from here to here. I'm looking into the future.
You've been wrong before.
Putting you on the show is a mistake. That's right.
Why? Because I'm calling you out?
Drew says, I personally worry too much about Palat. He won't be on this team past 2027 trade deadline. He might re-sign him. How much you think? I wonder if they're going to re-sign Pajot and Lee in the offseason. Is that the next move? Because he just loves this team so much. So let's sign a 36-year-old and a 33-year-old.
That'd be the dumbest thing that they could do.
Well, he's done a lot of dumb. Whatever he does so far has been stupid.
Move them while they still have value.
He's not moving these guys. These trades tell you he's not moving anyone at the deadline. He's not. What makes you think he's going to move anyone at the deadline? Alexander. Oh, my gosh. Grumpy, I'm sorry, but this team is really good. This team is really close to being a contender. It is not. It is not, Alexander. It is not.
Realistically, do you think that we have any shot in hell of beating the Hurricanes? Because if the answer is no, we are not a Stanley Cup contender. You have to get through the Hurricanes. And if you can't do that, you're not making it.
And could the Hurricanes, are they really a contender to beat Tampa? Not with their goaltending situation. Not with Brandon Bussey in net. I don't think they're good enough in goal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think that we're a cup contender. Absolutely. I don't think you can look at this team and be like, yeah, cup contender. The games that we win against teams that we shouldn't beat, and then we just lay down dead against teams that we should kill.
Just take off the orange and blue glasses. That's all I have to say. Look at it logically. Andrew Levy says, it seems like Darche's strategy is to give up as little draft pass capital as possible to improve on the margins by sacrificing cap space. I don't think he even has a strategy. I really don't. Here's the thing. What did you tell management to get the job? I wasn't in that meeting. If you told them anything but this team needs to be revamped, guess what? You're not the man for the job. Sorry. Alexander says they got 63 points, about to enter the Olympic break. Please tell me, guys, if you expected that.
No, I did not. And I will firmly tell you I did not expect that. I think the reason we didn't expect that is we did not think that Schaefer was going to be as good as he was. And we will sit here and admit it. We thought that he should have gone and played in college. We did not want him playing on the NHL team. And then we looked at him play his first 9 games, and we were like, holy shit, this kid's really, really good. And he absolutely surpassed what we thought he was going to be. And he's been carrying the team.
And he's hit the wall now. He's hit the wall.
He's still putting up points, though. He's still putting up points. He's still scoring goals. He's still scoring goals. Honestly, you want to know what I want most for this season? I want him to beat that goal record. That's all I care about this year. I want him to beat that goal record.
Okay. That being said, he's hit the wall. It's pretty obvious he's not the same guy he was earlier in the year. It's understandable.
He's still playing
years old. He's never played this many games before. Has never done it. He needs the Olympic break. I think that will help him. The Olympic break will absolutely help him.
But yes, we will sit here and tell you 100% we did not expect the team to be as good as they are at this current time period.
Did we expect Sorokin to bounce back to be a Vezina favorite? Nope. Nope.
And then neither was Schaefer to be
right.
Arguably, he probably will win Rookie of the Year. He should.
That's the only difference in this team from this year and last year. Those two guys.
Goalie's playing a heck of a lot better than he was last year, and you got a absolute NHL. I'm just going to say Hall of Fame talent in a defenseman.
Right. Googum says Darche's reasoning is that they have a lot of cap room to wiggle around with. Sonex, what is a goldsmith?
Somebody who does stuff with gold. I don't know. Like a jeweler, but only deals with gold. I don't know.
Okay, if you're picking up salary cap dumps, you need to bring in more assets than that. That's what a salary cap dump is for other teams. You get assets for them. Jersey gave up nothing.
Because you're helping them out. You're helping them out of their current situation. And especially, it's a team that's in your division. It's a team that's in your division. The last thing you want to do is bail one of them out.
And Darche did that.
Yeah, that's just so confused. I would have been like, yeah, you want to trade him here? We're gonna get a killing off of you. And if you want to send him here.
He got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I would not have helped. Honestly, I would have been like, even if it was a good trade, no, you're a division rival.
Honestly,
find somewhere else to go.
Carson Soucy, maybe a 6th round pick for him. Maybe. Not a third. Not a third. He's a bottom pairing guy.
Yeah.
What's Scott Mayfield worth if he's worth a third? A second? Nick Canetta says team used their salary cap space to shore up their defense, gain an extra pick. Grumpy, in what ways is bad? They didn't get anything back. You got a 6th round pick back.
Which is honestly going to turn out to be nothing.
You picked up your salary cap went up, what, $6+ million this year? I mean, and 4 next year? No. You should have gotten way more from the Devils to take on Palat's contract. Way more. We gave up 2 2s and a 3 to get rid of Andrew Ladd. $5.5 million. We should have got at least a couple of 2s.
Yep.
At least
2 2s and a 3, right?
At least 2 2s. You move Siplikov too, which helped the money a little bit, right?
Yep.
Tony Bird Curtis says, popping in late, but let me take a wild guess. Grumpy is completely shitting a brick over the couple of trades Darche made, correct. Comparing him to Lou, old, dumb, and bold, correct. Having himself a tantrum, also correct. See, here's the thing. He listened to that portion. He knew.
I was about to say that's a pretty good guess.
Here's the thing, but I'm not wrong. Say whatever you want. I'm not wrong. Freedom says, see, Sun X, Islanders never wanted to hire Bergevin, Kako, or the old guy who ruined Edmonton. No, they didn't want Holland. Islanders interviewed all and chose the best guy. No, they didn't. They were turned down absolutely turned down by general managers. But your dad creates these narratives. It's not true. It's not true. They wanted Bergevin to come in with Darche. That's what they really wanted. And Bergevin said, all the way up with a red hot poker. Absolutely not. How would Mark Bergevin feel being underling to Matthew freaking Darche? All I know is he went back to Los Angeles. As soon as Kakalainen gets elevated to GM in Buffalo, boom, he bolts and goes to Buffalo. And Buffalo is automatically a winner. Go figure. I don't know. Figure it out. X-Pun says, the white whale is way better than Vasilevsky. No.
I'd say they're similar. I think, I think if you put Sorokin on a different situation, on a different team, I think he's just as good as Vasilevsky.
They're not. Come on. Be honest. Vasilevsky's like, what's he, top 2 goalie in league every single year? There's a reason he's that consistent. He's I mean,
well, when you're not having somebody blocking your vision right in front of the net every single shot attempt, because your guys will actually clear people out of the crease in front of you, it helps.
I can't take you serious. Anyone who
look at all the goals they give up. There's always somebody standing right in front of Sorokin blocking his view.
You make it sound like they're shooting at Vasilevsky from the center red line. It's not. He's tremendous. He's a generational goaltender. He's a first ballot.
You don't think Sorokin is a generational goaltender?
Not like Vasilevsky's done it for how many years? 10 years?
Sorokin will be there.
The top goalie in the league for what, 10 years? I'm sorry. He's not. He's just not Vasilevsky.
I think Vasilevsky was put on a better situation than Sorokin was.
But he's performed better too.
Because he plays on a better team. That's right.
How many Vesnas does Vasilevsky have, X?
I'll look it up.
Look it up. Because I know how many Sorokin has. 0.
Again, when you're facing a lot more shots.
But okay, 30 shots a game in the playoffs. And how many times does he pitch a shutout in game-clinching games? That's what you want from your goaltender. It's not if, okay, you have a couple of games where you give up a lot of goals, but it's in big situations. Grant Fuhrer was notorious for that. In big moments, Vasilevsky comes up big all the time. That's what makes him the goalie.
Vasilevsky has 1 Vezina. So if Sorokin wins Vezina this year, he will be tied with Vezinas with Vasilevsky.
Well, he's never going to win a Stanley Cup if he stays with the Islanders.
Okay, and again, it's because of the situation of where he was picked.
Okay. Like I said,
you can't decide what team drafts you. You can't do that.
No one is taking.
Maybe you should just hit free agency. How would you feel if he did that, just to prove you wrong?
Sorokin,
a Stanley Cup winner.
Sorokin or Vasilevsky?
I said Sorokin. I was saying Sorokin.
You realize they're both like the same age too, right? Pretty close.
One guy has played on a hell of a lot better team than the other one. Also, wasn't Sorokin in like Russia for like years? He couldn't come over here and play.
Vasilevsky is really, really.
You want to know what? You want to know who Sorokin is? Sorokin's going to be like Ichiro Suzuki, where he spent the beginning of his career in Japan playing, and then came over here and dominated in the States.
Not going to really trash talk Sorokin. I'm just saying he's not Vasilevsky. Just
if he wins a Vezina, they're essentially the same goal.
Next comment. Drew says, I think Sorokin is on level with Vasi, but if you give Sorokin an average, if you give Sorokin an average level defense.
Exactly. It helps. It helps.
In a big game, I'm taking Vasilevsky over everybody.
What big games has Sorokin played in?
Huh?
What big opportunities has Sorokin had to play in? What big games?
He had playoff games where he hasn't looked good in clinching games. He absolutely has.
Against who?
Carolina.
Oh, there's exactly my point. My point right there. When your team can't do anything defensively and they're just peppering shots at you all game, it's pretty hard to save everything.
There's a reason why Vasilevsky wins those clinching games.
Because his team's better. That's right.
Because he rises to the occasion.
Dude.
Nick Canetta says they didn't mortgage the future. You don't mortgage the future when you're taking on salary. You're taking in salary dump. You should be. They didn't gain it. They gained 1 pick, a 6th. That's what they gained, a 6th round pick for a $6 million salary dump, and have a team that a better shot at the playoffs. They're the same team they were yesterday, the same exact team. They're no different. And Palat and Soucy do not move the needle in any way, shape, or form. They do not. This team is dependent on Sorokin being in God mode every night.
And read Drew's comment
here. That's what they need. Sorokin to be in God mode, and hopefully Schaefer comes back rejuvenated after the Olympic break. That's it. This team otherwise is the same exact team that did not qualify for the playoffs last year. The same exact team.
Have we heard any update on Horvat, if he's still going to the Olympics?
I'm sure he is. He's back.
Okay. I didn't know if they still wanted him or not. That was my question.
Yeah, they're not. He was picked for the team.
No, I know, but I didn't know if they were like, okay, well, he just recently got hurt. We're going to drop him.
He's back. He's back playing. So he's
okay.
Drew says we've been by far the worst defense in the league by a country mile, and Sorokin still has a .915 save percentage. Yeah, he's been great this year. Absolutely, to me, the Vezina Trophy finalist. But you want something? Look at Vasilevsky's numbers. Look at Vasilevsky's numbers.
Not as good as Sorokin.
They're just as good as Sorokin's.
They're not. We already proved that. Do I need to pull it up?
Compare them. You say they're not as good. Compare the two's numbers. Compare their numbers and tell me they're not virtually the same. Except Vasilevsky has more wins. And he started off the season terrible too, Vasilevsky. Terrible to start the year. I think he lost his first 5 or 6 starts when Tampa was like in a shambles to start the year. They were terrible. But they know what they're doing in Tampa.
Give me a minute. I'll pull the stats up.
You know something? Here's the thing. They weren't winning anything. They were losing to Florida. All of a sudden, Darche leaves the organization. They're the best team in the Eastern Conference again. Mistake? I don't think so. Alexander, once again with the orange and blue glasses, says Sorokin at this stage right now over Vasilevsky is better. No, he's not. He's not better. You're going to try to tell me you take Sorokin in a game 7 over Vasilevsky? Not me. Never. Never freaking ever. You got those numbers, X?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's hear them. Tell me the numbers.
I'm going to share them, actually.
Okay, share them. I'm interested.
So here's Vasilevsky's stats.
I just care about a 23-7, a 207 goals against average, and a 920 save percentage. This is Vasilevsky, correct?
On a better team.
This is Vasilevsky, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because he was dog shit to start the year. So 207 with a 930 save percentage?
920. Don't inflate his stats.
920. Okay. And
this is Sorokin's
243, 916. Okay. So and 17
on a way worse defense.
So
way worse defense.
Okay. All I said was statistically they're almost identical. That's all I said.
You're right. And this guy's got.
I was wrong. I was wrong. Vasilevsky's better.
Statistically, who has the better defense? Would you say it's Tampa or the New York Islanders?
All I said was, once again,
you won't answer the question.
I said they were almost identical statistically. They're not. Vasilevsky's goals against is 207 to 243, and the save percentage is 920 to 916. I mean,
who's the better defense?
Who's the better goalie?
Who's the better defense?
Vasilevsky.
Who has the better defense? I want to see high.
Tampa's had their top three defensemen out for most of the first half of the year. Their top three, their top six out, which has led Radish to come through and shine, honestly. But they've had a lot of injuries.
They're down to like third. They're down to like
Tampa's a better team. Tampa's a better overall team than
they're down to like a fourth and fifth defensive pairing. Is that what you're trying to say?
They were missing their top three. They've been playing guys.
Fourth and fifth defensive pairing would probably be a 1 and 2 for the Islanders.
Three guys from the A against the Islanders when they played. 3 guys from the A.
And they'd probably be starters on our team.
All I'm just saying is nobody with a brain takes Sorokin over Vasilevsky in Game 7. Nobody.
Sorokin, Game 7, lockdown. We're taking it.
Next. Freedom says Darche got rid of Siplikov, who wasn't going to work out there. TJ saying they sold low on him. There wasn't going to be a high. Islanders added 2 guys they needed and picks. They didn't add picks. It's also about having guys to teach. Who are they teaching? We have no young guys on this team. So everybody's over 30. Everybody's over 30. Drew says, by the way, those who missed TJ for the first time in about 8 or 9 months, I'm genuinely sorry. Freedom says, young guys better than soft party boy Islander vets. Palat also give Darche ears he trusts in the locker room. Helps Darche assess the roster. What? What kind of nonsense is that? Next. That comment's too dumb for me to even comment on. Nick Canetta says, sorry, Freedom, it's true. Nick Canetta says, team gained assets after the 2 trades. Moved up in the third and got an extra 6. Grump, isn't this what you want? More kicks in the can? You moved up, a couple of spots? They should have got a couple of 2s. They took on 2 years of $6 million per. That's worth 2 2s and a 3 through 2 years ago. 3 years ago. That's what it was worth. And you got a third and a 6th? It's not enough. It was a salary dump. You need to get way more back in a salary dump. You're going to see somebody else take on a salary dump, and you watch what they get from other teams. And you're going to say, oh, my gosh, Darche is a shithead, just like Grumpy Oldman said. Next. And one more kick at the can in the 6th round is not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you want to try and get some higher overall. I mean, the odds of a 6th round pick turning out to be anything are like non-existent.
And you dealt another third for a useless bottom pairing defenseman. Gugman says, Son X, this is the Islanders' 51st season overall. Without looking at the calendar or using a calculator, what year was their first season? Is Phil's facts a voice of reason? No, he's not.
I have no idea. My math ain't mathing right now.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Oops.
Mark
let's do that one. Sorry. I'm going in order.
God. My gosh, is Freedom trying to double down on the worst take of the night? Sorokin is maybe Mitch better goalie than Vasilevsky at this stage of his career. He's not. He's not. The numbers do not bear that out. I'm sorry. Next. Alexander says Darche is his first year with this team is And this team is really good, and Waugh deserves a lot of love as well. Oh, my God.
No. I think Waugh, I don't think Waugh is the issue. I don't. I think it's just the group of guys around him are not the best.
It's just the team that just treads water year after year.
Granted, they have absolutely outperformed what we thought they were going to be. They have. But I'm not going to attribute that to anybody else than Schaefer just being
outplayed every single night.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex says, Grumpy, the trade as a whole is Soucy and Palat for Sipelkov. It's a bad trade. You got to remember, you're taking on that salary. The second. No, there was no second involved. They got a sixth. Stater Survivor says, I want Schaefer to get the heart. Not this year. Sorry. Nick Canetta says, you can't compare salary dumps in 2023 and today. Cap situation was totally different back then. Cap wasn't growing because of COVID. Everyone needed space. Not really the case anymore. You got nothing in the. You got nothing. Then they dump $6 million on you. You got nothing. Nothing. You'll see another team make a salary cap dump, and you watch what they get. You watch. Google says, let's forget about all this trade jibber jabber. What are your thoughts on the Islanders' victory over the Rangers? You mean Hartford? Is the light bulb above Darche's head shining bright? No, it's not. It's a broken light bulb. It's just one of those light bulbs, that they tell you, remember that the bullshit when they say, oh, you don't need more lumens. You need soft light. No. All it is dark then. Status Bible says, Drouin has no game. He's a bum. Well, that's Darche's big signing in the offseason. Alexander says they should keep Pajot and give him a 2-year deal at 3.5. Lee will retire most likely an Islander, and he'll take a cheap deal. What?
Here's the thing. If Lee really wants to retire as an Islander, and I've said this before, if these guys really want to retire as an Islander and they care about the team, shouldn't they want the team to get the most value for them as possible?
They should.
He can come back and sign a 1-day contract and retire with the team. That's what who was the God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. The goalie for the Penguins for all those years. What was his name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He played for Vegas.
Fleury.
Yeah. Marc-Andre Fleury. He signed a 1-day contract and retired with the Penguins. Why can't he do that? Why can't the Islanders players who love playing here go ahead and do that if they really care so much about the team?
How's Anders Lee doing this year? What are his numbers?
I can pull
dog shit, just like most of his career.
Okay. But that's my stance on that. If these players really want to retire with the team, trade them and show me how much you want to retire with the team. We'll sign you to a 1-day contract and you can retire here. Show me how much you want to retire. Because guess what? When it comes to the end of the day, they'll be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do it.
Nobody wants to leave the Islanders when they come there because they're comfortable here.
Yeah.
Comfort is not.
They know that they get they have a shortened season because they're not making the playoffs, or if they do, they're getting eliminated in the first round, so they get to start their vacation earlier.
And they'll get big contracts because, hey, he's a good guy. They don't have to worry about winning. There's no repercussions to performing bad. Nothing. You never see good players who come here. We've never signed a top-level free agent ever. In how many years free agency been? 40 years? We've never signed a top-level free agent. It's almost impossible not to sign one. Never signed any. None. Alexander says, because I don't think Carolina is not good. I don't know if he did. Carolina.
Maybe you'd say is that good? I don't know. I think Carolina's good. They're always good.
Oh, here's the thing. Carolina's better than Islanders. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Nick Canetta says, I'm at the point that no matter Darche would have done, Grumpy wouldn't have been happy. So trigger happy to blow a fuse about the team. That's not true. If he was starting to move veterans for draft picks, I'd been ecstatic. That's what I wanted him to do.
Granted, he still could potentially do that. What we have to hope happens is we are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs come trade deadline.
That's not happening.
That's what we have to hope for, is we are mathematically eliminated, so he is forced to have to trade those players.
Worst case scenario is the Islanders keep everybody.
And they trade away our top picks for players to try to make the playoffs.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about managing assets. They keep Lee, keep Pajot, keep D'Angelo, and then we don't make the playoffs because Columbus comes steaming rolling up behind us and passes us. That's worst case scenario. That is worst case scenario. Then all this, we're investing in the players. You pay the money every night. They should be investing in us, the fans.
Yeah.
And I've been steadfast in what I said the Islanders should do. When they do the opposite, absolutely pisses me off because you know what? What they've chosen to do over the last number of years has not worked. It never works. Doubling down on suck does not work. At some point in time, you have to cut the cord and say, you know what? We want to rebuild. We got a piece in Schaefer that we can build around. You're not building around somebody when you're bringing 35-year-olds or stopgap rentals, a freaking rental. They paid a third-round pick for a freaking rental bottom-pairing defenseman who was the worst defender on the Rangers, a horrible Rangers team, and you gave him a third-round pick. That's what they traded to Vancouver last year to get him. And he wore out his welcome in there, and they moved him to us because they got a moron as a GM. Ivan Danyard says, still watch you guys, just don't comment until tonight. Carson Soucy, good old farm boy. He grew up 30 miles south of where I live, outside of Irma, Alberta. Nice. I will be cheering extra hard for him. Good for you, Ivan. Man, it must be cold up there in Alberta. You think, X?
Yeah, I mean, it's been cold by us the last couple of days, but yeah, I mean, yeah, probably colder than here.
Ivan, it's like farm country up there, isn't it? That's what I think.
In Alberta, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking that
it is.
Drew said, trust if any of our first round, if any of our first round picks get traded this year, I will fully believe the property brothers are the main problem.
At that point, you got to hit them where it hurts. Stop going to the games. Stop buying the merchandise. Stop supporting the team. Until force them to sell the team.
But here's the thing. Darche is going to be here at least 3 years. GMs do not get fired.
That's fine. Stop supporting the team. Stop going to the games. Stop buying the merchandise. Hit them where it hurts in their wallets, and they'll be forced to sell because they're not going to want to take a loss on the team. They're not going to do that. Make it so they have to sell the team.
Gungnam says, if the Islanders make the playoffs, can win a series or two, isn't that a good experience for young Schaefer, Sun X, and Grumpy? Do you prefer an electric or traditional shaver? I use an electric. Don't check.
Yeah, I use electric.
A shaver. It's more like a
buzzer.
A buzzer.
Yeah.
I use a blade.
Blade. But yeah, I think that would be a good experience for Schaefer for sure. Playing in the playoffs, I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that would be a great experience for him. But at the same point in time, you got to look at the cost. Is it worth, Schaefer playing in a playoff series to then lose out on getting a player that could potentially help your team in the long run for when, he's in his prime? That's how you have to look at it. Is the playoff series worth it?
No. Nick Canetta says, no one is saying this team's a cup contender. And these moves don't show that they think they are either. They made small moves to shore up holes and got extra picks. They did get extra picks. They got a 6th-round pick. They moved their 3rd rounder to pick up the other guy. They got a 6th-round pick. It is not picks. They got a 6th-round pick is what they got. They didn't get anything else. They did not get picks. They got a 6th-round pick. 1 pick in the 6th round. That's what they got. Nick Canetta says, this is an overreaction of epic proportions. You might say so, but I'll be proven right. Joshua Vass says, even the Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl in 2009.
But what have they done since then?
Didn't they win in 2014 as well? Tomlin won once.
Yeah, I know Mike Tomlin did.
Howard won, and then Tomlin won.
Maybe it was. No,
I think Howard was the coach when they beat the Cardinals, and I think that Tomlin was the coach when they beat Seattle.
I can look it up.
I think that's what it was.
But I'm just saying they're a team that consistently makes the playoffs every year. They have an above 500 record, and they get eliminated in the first round every single year. And I know people who are Steelers fans. They are frustrated with that.
Yep.
They want change. Hence why Tomlin finally lost his job. And I think Mike Tomlin's a good coach. I just think they don't have a quarterback. That's the issue with their team. And they haven't had one since Big Ben.
We brought in a general manager who's just a retread of the old guy. That's it.
He's a 2.0 carbon copy.
Same mindset. Google says, the Revenge of the Nerds. How come the Jocks were not punished for burning their house down? If a stick falls inside Nassau Coliseum, does it make a sound? Of course it does. Read this one, X.
I want to see the team. I want to see this team win a cup. And I also think they should trade JG and Lee. But golly, this is an epic overreaction.
Okay. When they don't trade Pajot and Lee, then what are you going to think? Because when you're picking up rentals, that means you're not trading away other guys. He came out and said it. He came out and said if there was a right deal for him, he'd move the first round picks. That tells you he's not selling. He's not a seller. He will not be a seller at the deadline. He just came out and told you today. What is your reaction to that? He told you that he's not selling. We picked up a rental from the Rangers for a third round pick and then got a sixth round pick to bring in 2 years at $6 million per for a washed up Anze Palat. That's a bottom six guy. Nicolas says, Grump, you're being a bit of a hypocrite. You always said you should use our cap space to acquire assets. That's what they did. They did not. They brought in a sixth round pick. That is not acquiring assets. Because guess what? Palat is not movable because he's no good. Now he's your albatross. If you're going to take a salary cap dump, you need to get more value than a sixth round pick. Period. Not enough value. Nick Canetta says, weren't you the one, Grumpy, weren't you the one who wanted Aitchison? Now you're saying he's a bust. Are you going to own up to that? I did want Aitchison. I thought he looked great against children. I also said in my evaluation, he looks an awful lot like Romanoff.
The worst player in the league, say it.
What, X?
The worst player in the league, say it.
The worst player in the league. I said they need to get that Romanoff out of him. He bullies the younger kids, and he absolutely looks the part, right? Then you see him play against other guys, and he's not so big. Like I said,
I think there's still time for him. He can still develop. It's not like he's super old.
Where's he going to play? Where's he going to play? Tell me where, as a left shot defenseman, where's he going to play?
Be a second pairing guy.
Second pairing guy. Okay. Your first pairing guy is Schaefer, right?
Yeah, and he will always be the first pairing guy.
Adam Pelech, second pairing guy. 8 years of Alexander Romanoff, third pairing guy. Where's space for Aitchison?
Well, maybe they can dump Romanoff on somebody. Maybe somebody will accept it.
No,
maybe somebody will accept Romanoff in a third and a sixth.
No, here's the thing. If we moved Romanoff, we'd have to give up 3 1s and 7 2s.
That's what I was saying. Maybe some other general manager will accept that.
Matthew Darche isn't working for another team, so that's not going to happen.
Oh.
Nick Canetta says, side note, you guys have continue to do a great job with the podcast, even without TJ Son X. Kudos to you stepping on and Grumpy still being Grump. Always enjoy listening. Thank you, Nicholas.
Appreciate it.
Koo says, crazy, our rookie defenseman has more. LOL.
Talk about goals. I think.
He's close. I think he's going to get 20 or 21. That's what I think.
I want him to break the record. That's what I want.
The record is, I think, 18.
18
and 18. I think he's going to – I don't think he'll catch points, Housley's points.
See, I want him to set all the records. That's all I care about this season. That's it.
I don't think he's going to, but I think that –
Yeah, no. I'd love to see it, though. It'd be great.
Matthew says we got an extra pick, a sixth, which is nothing. And we swapped thirds. Okay, so what? 7 spots in the third round? We don't have a second. Joshua Vass says the pick wasn't the intention. It was to fill the D hole Romanoff left open. Again, on a non-contending team, what do you care? Let the young guys
bring somebody up,
and let's see who can be part of the solution.
Yep. That's what you have. This should be a year where you can bring some other guys up as options. See what you have in your farm system to see if anybody's worth anything. Test them out.
Let Isaiah George play the rest of the year at left, the bottom pairing defenseman to team with Mayfield. Yep. Let's see if he's part of the solution. Because guess what? He's going back to the minors now.
And here's the thing. If you know that these guys, okay, they come up, they play for a little bit, and they stink, great. We need to move on from them. We need to look towards the draft to getting a replacement for this guy. That's a perfect time to test out some of your young talent that you have and see if they're cut out for the game or not.
I agree, X. Thomas Anthony says, good evening, gents. I'm pleased with the trades, not putting us over the top, but making us deeper, more dynamic, a playoff-proven winger and a steady stay-at-home defenseman, and 2 picks as well. It's not 2 picks. We moved a pick. It's not 2 picks. We moved a pick. We got a 6th rounder. Joshua Vath says, I agree not liking giving up the pick, though, for Soucy. He's not that good. Nazo said, I thought the Devils gave us a 3rd-round pick as well. Maybe you should reread the 2026 3rd and a 27 7th. We traded our 3rd to get Soucy. So it's a wash. It's a wash. The 3rd-round pick is a wash. We should have gotten way more than a 3rd-round pick for a $6 million cap hit for 2 years. Way more. Thomas Anthony says, Darche isn't done yet. If you were him, what position would you target next? And more to the point, which player would you go after? No one. I don't want him adding players to this team.
When it comes to the draft, we need to target right-handed defensemen because we don't have any of those.
I want to move. I want them to move all their players on expiring deals to get assets, meaning draft capital. That's what I want them to do. They are not going to do that. Today told you, and yesterday told you all you need to know.
We're doubling down, which is exactly
right.
what we thought was going to happen.
Would it stun you if he moved 2 first-round picks? How would everyone feel if he moved 2 first-round picks? How would you feel about that? Everyone think that'd be
good,
great, right?
Not good.
Not good. Matthew Sklar says, these are moves on the margins. They don't really hurt us. We lose 3. Oh, okay, well, yeah, we lose $4 million in cap space next year. And you can flip Palat. You can't flip Palat. He makes $6 million, and he's a bottom pairing guy. You're going to have to give up an asset to move him, just like Jersey did. Yep. He has no value on the trade market. None. When he signed that deal, it was for weight. We talked about it. He was overpaid when he signed that deal. He's still overpaid. He's been a bust in Jersey. You want to know why he was so good in Tampa Bay? Because he played with Tampa Bay. And he was like on the 4th line for Tampa. That's why he was so good in Tampa. Mr. B says, should have left Schaefer and Jr. and give Ilya a 35 to 40 game season, trade off anyone over 30. Agreed. Thomas Anthony said, would you trade one of our first-round picks for a rental player? If the player were a true impact player, we might not be guaranteed to re-sign him, but would you think it's worth it? No. I'm not trading for rentals. This team is not in a position to trade for rentals. We're a borderline playoff team. Borderline. Not good. You don't trade for rentals.
I mean, right now, I think we're just squeaking in, right?
Would be 3rd. We'd be the last team in the Metro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're just squeaking in. Yes. We're just getting by.
Thomas Anthony, Panarin to the Islanders. No way. It's not happening. Because I guarantee you he'd leave. JP says, in all fairness, the Islanders swapped 3rd rounders after both deals were finished. I'm not thrilled with the opacity of direction and vision, but I'm not thinking the deals were absolutely terrible. It shows you that the Islanders do not care about the future of the team. They just care about right now.
I don't think – now here's what I'll say on Grumpy's stance on this. I don't think Grumpy thinks that the picks are – that the trade was the worst trade ever in the history of the sport. I think he's thinking more so long-term, like, okay, this is the direction this guy's going to go. How much worse can it get? That's what I think. You're more so afraid of what's to come than the actual.
He doesn't believe in building a team through the draft.
And that's what I'm saying is you're more fearful of what's to come than what occurred.
And if he says, oh, I like the Tampa model, it's what Tampa did. Tampa team was loaded with young talent when they were making.
We're not Tampa Bay.
That's right. And we already went through earlier in the show, the talent that Tampa had. There's nobody in the Islanders who matches up with any of the talent that Tampa had back in the day. That's why they were okay to move first rounders every year. When you're in a Stanley Cup final every single year, yes, you go for it every single year. But
now, I will say,
you don't.
I will say Darche could turn it around. There's still a possibility that he turns around, trades JG Pajot and trades Lee at the deadline, and we get a bunch of picks for them. That is a possibility that does happen. And then we'd be ecstatic about that. We'd be on Team Darche.
You really see that happening?
Based off of the direction that he's going right now, probably not.
No.
It's probably not going to happen. I think that's the reason why we feel the way we do.
Time is now.
If it doesn't happen, then we've just shot ourselves in the foot.
Time is now. Well, guess what? You're getting out of the service then because we absolutely shot ourselves in the foot. I don't think we read the last comment.
Oh,
from time is now.
Let's see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. Here we go.
6th round. Time is now says 6th round picks are lottery tickets. Palat is a good pickup. I would keep Pajot, but Lee, Drouin, Mayfield, Pellick, Pulak, Grumpy, and Sunex are too negative sometimes. You have to believe in miracles. Fuck. What? I stopped believing in Santa Claus a long time.
Whoa. All right, Grumpy. Rein it in, okay? Rein it in.
Pajot's going nowhere. Lee's going nowhere. Drouin's absolutely not going anywhere. Mayfield's not going anywhere. Here's the thing. How much would the Islanders have to give up to dump Scott Mayfield? He's got, 5 years left on his deal, or is it 4? That's a lot of years left for bottom pairing defenseman. I bet you they'd have to give up more than a 3rd and a 6th. Pellick and Pulak, they're not moving any of those guys. Okay, next. Freedom says, Sunex, what is more believable? Darche was extremely well-respected assistant GM because the NHL media and his boss and owners said that, and literally was trained in every aspect, and he got lunch even though the team, he was a lunch boy. He was a lunch boy. And he played a shitload of pickleball. That's what he did. I'm telling you that. Freedom says, have the staffer yet. Yet somehow all the teams were fooled, and the delivery guy landed a huge job, defeated other candidates. Your dad sometimes shovels tons of shit. The only thing that I see shit is freaking Darche's trade moves.
I guess here's my thing. If these other guys came in to interview for the job, these other general manager candidates came in, I'm wondering, did they actually turn down the position? Like, did they get offered and turned it down? Or did they remove their name from consideration?
They said, I'm waving you off.
Because if they're removing their name from consideration, that means it's an ownership problem. Because there's no way any person who's applying for general manager position is going into a job and just immediately removing themselves unless the owners are hard to deal with. That's it. And that's the more fearful thing that I have, is if it's an ownership issue, well, that ain't getting resolved until they sell the team. That's the big issue. If it's ownership, you're not changing that until they sell the team. So, I mean, if they actually, and now again, I don't know if they actually removed their names from consideration when they applied for the position.
I just don't know how many years we have to go through the same thing, and everyone trying to defend bad moves by incompetent general managers before you realize it's just not the right thing to do. Next. And Frank Empire says, X-Man, you don't know, so pipe down if your team lost $25 million the past few years because of loser. You would want to make the playoffs. Those are great moves. We got rid of that bum Siplikov and got 2 good players. They're not. My God. Palat is a bottom 6 guy, and Soucy sucks. He's a 3rd pairing defenseman. They're not good players. They're stopgap measures. They're 35 and 32 years old. That's their ages. They are not part of the future of the team. Why are you trading for guys who are not going to be part of the future of the team? That's my point. By the time this team is good, those guys are going to be long gone. They're not part of the solution.
What you're essentially doing is you are wasting years off of Schaefer's career.
And Sorokin too, especially Sorokin because he's older.
Yep. That's exactly what you're doing. You're wasting their years away. That's how I look at it. You're like the Bills with Josh Allen.
Yes, exactly. Frank says, we developed Holmstrom. Okay, Holmstrom's a bottom 6 guy. He's a bottom 6 guy. Joshua says Holmstrom sucks. That's fair. Frank says, this is why I didn't put it on during the game. Unbearable. Grumpy old man. Don't know what you're talking about. We got rid of 1 bum and got 2 bums and picked up $6 million in salary cap. We didn't get 2 picks. We did not get 2 picks.
Here's the thing. Now, here's the thing I'll say about veteran leadership. You don't need a bunch of veteran leaders. If you already have 1 or 2 vets on your team, that's honestly all you need. If you're talking about in a leadership stance, you don't need 6 veteran leaders on your team. if they're not going to be top contributors, you don't need 6 of them on your team.
Hold on. So you don't think that we need Pulak and Pellick and Lee and Pajot and Horvat?
If there's a better option out there that's a better player, no.
So you sure we don't? Because it seems like that's what we need. More and more of these guys.
Some teams that don't have any veteran leadership that are really young, sure, that's like a smart move. That's just like Buffalo. That would be a smart move to get a veteran. Teach the young kids the ropes. Teach them what to do. But when your team is loaded with veterans, you don't need to get more of them. What are they going to teach the other ones? Nothing. You've been in the league for how many years? You should already know.
True. Big Time says, is TJ no longer with the firm? Yeah, he's not on the show anymore. He could not do it.
No.
Frank from Empire State says, well, Josh, he had 20-plus goals last year and 3 points tonight versus a hated rival and has been playing good. Who's he talking about?
I've just flagged it. I might have just flagged that on accident. Sorry.
Okay. Ponyboy Curtis says, I have a question for you there, Grump. Your sentiment, which you have indoctrinated your NHL novice son into co-signing as well, that this team is nowhere near good enough to win a cup this year. That's true. Needs to tear it down to the studs, yada, yada, has been beaten to a bloody pulp. The majority of fans, myself included, do echo this belief contrary to what you opined. Have you considered at all, Grump, that this is ready to contend in, say, a few years, maybe less, that our superstar 18-year-old defenseman, who you have compared to Bobby Orr, is already likely at 10, 15. My gosh, what was this? A manifesto? I don't even know what he's saying.
Hold on.
He's likely top 10 or 15. Is there more to this?
Yeah, hold on. Defenseman in the league.
Ceiling top 3. Instead, the team is ready to contend. That Schaefer's getting beat well with some playoff experience is going to be invaluable to his development. They had to learn how to win. Okay. This team isn't good enough. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. You should be wanting to load up a place so they all grow up together. Because all these guys that you just brought in a 35-year-old and a 31-year-old, 35, 32, whatever they are. That's what you brought in. What do they help? What's the help? Google says, is there a way to purchase grumpy autographs? Gents, which stand-up comedians do you feel create the most laughs? I know me and X think differently on comedians, that's for certain.
Yeah, I like comedians. Next one, you Grumpy.
Schaefer getting a bit of playoff experience is the first thing from a waste. The last few years, the Devils were allegedly contenders. Looking how freaking soft they've been when they did make it. Let's say the Islanders make the playoffs this year, and then they lose all these guys to free agency, and they don't make the playoffs next year. What do you think the couple of games he plays, is that going to carry over 2 or 3 years from now? Because the team is far from being good. Most of the guys are old on this team. Most of their core pieces are in their 30s. What are you going to learn? You're going to have to turn the team over at some point. Just putting Band-Aids on the situation which needs a tourniquet is not conducive to winning.
Correct.
Freedom says Pat Flatley joined the Islanders with LaFontaine, who later become a captain. That's your boy, Pat Flatley.
Yeah, Flatley time. Yeah.
You remember him.
Flatley.
Says, how can you have debt if you pay for nothing? That's true. That's what we were talking about. That's fair, X. I think that's very fair.
That is fair. That is fair. I'll give him that. Little golf clap.
Joshua Vat says, supposedly we were interested in Panarin before he went to the Rangers. I seriously doubt we'll get him now. Yeah, he's not. Yeah. He's 35 years old, too. Is that the guy you want to invest in? I mean, I'm not saying that he sucks because I still think he's a good, serviceable player, but how many years do you think he's going to want? 4 or 5 years? You willing to pay for that? The guy's 35, 36 on this team? Not me. Guggen says, Shador is in the Pro Bowl. Will too many interceptions take its toll? I don't think they just play like don't they play like flag football?
It's flag football now, and they do like these stupid competitions. But yeah, there was we can talk about this on the other show, but I'll just quickly highlight this. He was like, I think they did a ranking for the worst quarterbacks ever in the history of the sport. I think he was like listed as based on his QBR, his interceptions, and his completion percentage, I think he's like the third worst quarterback ever to suit up.
Yeah.
And he made the Pro Bowl. Oh, good luck explaining that.
Yeah, maybe playing the Pro Bowl is going to improve Shedeur Sanders by playing with.
Well, maybe if they dress the other team up in his team's or in his team's uniforms, or dress his players, his wide receivers up in the other team's uniforms, they'll hit them with passes. Who completes more?
Freedom Farmer says Sun X prior to Darche's the Islanders failed to hold a rookie camp post draft. Thus, the NCAA and Euro players didn't participate. No speed coach, last second strength coach hire, no psychologist, bad AHL coach. Yeah, the other guy sucked too. That doesn't excuse what this guy's doing. Well, because he does some other things. He's doing the same things at the pro team level that the other guy did. Same thing.
Well, I think, getting the speed coach and strength coach and physio is good. That is good. Getting better ones. That is good. That is a positive.
Right. And getting the new goalie coach for Sorokin.
Yeah, that's a positive. That's absolutely positive. You can't knock him there. That's great.
Freedom Hunter says, Sonex, I want best for you. Learn to do your own research. Your family don't mind making you look and sound stupid as long as you don't go against the family narrative.
No.
Here's the thing. If he learns and watches what really happened, you'll see. Freedom says, Sonex, this year's Islanders could be Carolina. This year's Islanders could be Carolina. I don't know what that means.
He said this year's Islanders could beat Carolina, I think is what he meant to say. I can't see that as happening. I think Carolina's good.
That's a good one. Ponyboy says Buffalo's 19-3-1 in their last 23 games. Yeah, ever since Kakalina come in, they were an adult in the room, not some guy who likes to play pickleball. Ever since he's come in, all of a sudden that team has stood up and flown right. They are going to make the playoffs. They're going to end that playoff drought of whatever is 13, 14 years, whatever it was. Matthew Sklar says the salary cap hit doesn't mean anything this year because of LTIR. It does next year. Mr. B says, beat it next year with 15 more pounds of muscle. Next year. I don't know what that means. Next. Hey, at least on the bright side, Darche has made more trades within the past 8 months than Lou has in 4 years. Yeah, that's true. I'll give him that. Because they're the wrong trades, but, whatever. Freedom says, Sonex, at a time of 2 2s and a 3, the NHL salary cap was much lower, thus desperation was worse. Also, Lou was an idiot. Okay, you should have got more than a third and a sixth.
My question is, why can't we run into an idiot GM for once? We can go ahead and rake a team over the coals for trade.
Well, that's when whoever Edmonton's GM was, we ripped him off on a number of deals. Dumped off Griffin Reinhardt to him, wound up getting Barzell. Dumped Everly for Strome, I believe it was. So those worked out for us.
Yeah.
Josh Vass says Darche has been weak on every transaction so far. Could be a snapshot of years to come, or a rookie GM moves and he grows out of it. What do you think? Also, Vassy is the best goalie. Stop it, Son X. Yeah. Could Darche get better? He could get better.
And that's what I'm saying. Though, is hopefully.
Okay.
I'm hoping we trade at the deadline.
All I want to say is, I always felt Tampa always overpaid for guys when they were contending. I thought giving up first-round picks for certain guys was stupid. And a lot of them wound up being right. I mean, they've had guys who contribute, but, Blake Coleman for a first. Yanni Gord. They wound up giving up a lot. I always thought they overpaid to get guys. You can do that when your team is winning Stanley Cups, not when you're just trying to contend for the playoffs. Thomas Amato says, what's going on, boys? Great to see you. Yes, hello, Thomas. Joshua says, Sorokin is great, but he's not Vassy. Yeah. Freedom says, oh, yeah, that bum Bergevin was so highly thought of. He didn't get hired by any teams he interviewed with this year. LA had no problem letting that bum go to another team during the season. Never happened. He was an assistant to the owner. That's what he was. And he was free to go. You knew that was going to happen. Ponyboy Curtis says, getting Schaefer playoff experience is thinking about the future. Okay. I don't think it matters much at all.
If it removes a potential draft pick from you, though, that can benefit the team even more by getting him another asset, I think it hurts you.
Yeah, I just don't think that the playoff experiences. I mean, you
Would
get
the playoff experience outweigh a potential second line player or first line player that you could potentially get with a higher pick?
No, I don't think so, X. Drew says, Grumpy, hate to break it to you, but X is right on Sorokin. No, he's not.
Boom, I'm right on Sorokin, Grumpy. You heard it. Drew agrees.
Ray Dorn,
I'm right.
It would be pretty devious of Darche to be stringing the Rangers front office along up in Aaron to get him out of the lineup these next 2 days. I think they are having him lined up to move somewhere else.
Probably.
That's what I think. Drew says, when Sorokin had the opportunity to have big moments, Trotz went with Varley because he was too new to the team, but he was huge in that series against Pittsburgh 4 years ago. Yeah, without Sorokin, we don't get past Pittsburgh because Varley, first shot every game was goal. Joshua says, I agree getting Shea for playoff experience would be great, but I don't think he needs it. I think he always steps up to the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew says Varley has only a 0.05 higher save percentage than Sorokin. Okay, I said that their numbers were similar. That's what I said. And actually, Vasilevsky's were better. Vasilevsky's he's better. Come on. Drew says, and a 2.07 goals against average sounds to me like Tampa has a fantastic defense along with Vasi's down. To me, Sorokin has no defense. Okay, they've had three
Agreed.
of their defensemen out the majority of the year. So you can believe whatever you want. That's fine.
The Islanders are missing Romanov. He's a top defenseman.
You're trying to make me sound like I'm saying Sorokin sucks. All I'm saying is in a big game, I'm taking Vasilevsky. Why? Because he's been there, done that numerous times. That's the only reason.
They'll both be Vezina trophy winners after this year.
So, unless Vasi wins it. Freedom says Vasi has always had a better team in front of him. True. Sorokin is way better. Not true. Ask Russian hockey people. I don't know any Russian hockey people.
I know a lot, and I asked them, and they said Sorokin was better.
Okay, well now he's saying that. I mean, Shesterkin. I mean, come on. Shesterkin's great too. Let's be honest, right? Come on.
Sorokin's better.
Mark Albert said the Islanders look good tonight. Yeah, they did look good against the Hartford Wolfpack. Freedom says, Grumpy, you realize how much of your regular listeners you chased off tonight? I don't care. Because when things go bad, you'll be coming right back. Here's the thing. I'm not here to please anyone. Oh, the Islanders are great. You can go to some of those other sites. You go to those people who think everything the Islanders do are great. You know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. When the Islanders are the worst team in the don't make the playoffs by 10 points, they're going to tell you, oh, we should have won the Stanley Cup. With a break or two here or there, we would have been Stanley Cup champions. No. Next. Mark Alberti says, we swept Tampa this year. Dominated in both games.
And again, we've been beating the teams that we should be losing to. It's the strangest thing ever. It's literally the strangest thing ever. We were one of the only teams to beat Colorado this year.
That's right.
I mean, like,
and we were dominated in that game.
But it's like we beat the teams that we should get absolutely just destroyed by. It's the weirdest thing. Like, this is not common. No. This should not be happening. These are like anomalies. Like, this should not be taking place.
Drew says, XU stat head from Sports Reference going forward if you want to compare stats between two.
Noted. I will use that from here on out.
Matthew Sklar says, looked at the advanced metrics with Sorokin too. Okay, I'm not saying Sorokin sucks.
Sorokin better.
I just said in a big game, I'm taking Vasilevsky. That's all. Thomas Mayer says, I do agree with Grumpy Old Man majority of the time, but I think we do have a better team this year than we did last year. It's the same team with Schaefer and Sorokin playing better. That's the only difference. By the way, Grumpy, you're sick today. Your voice sounds like, yeah, I tell you what, I've been sick for over a month now. I got 2 versions of the flu. Just been tough time. Thomas Mayer says, Grumpy Old Man is right. The big cat is better. The numbers support this. That's true.
Sorokin.
Matthew Sklar says, Druin is so bad. Darche gets an L on that one. You know what, though? It didn't bother me that they picked up Druin. 2 years, $4 million per. Okay, whatever. It's okay. He'll be gone in 2 years. David Shaw McDonald says, Grumpy Old Man is becoming angry old man.
Ooh.
This is 90s Islander type anger.
Ooh, Grumpy.
Damn, I honestly think that we're playing better this year. I'm surprised with Grumpy Man. I side with Grump because he knows, but we are not watching the same team. If you actually look at how the team, I'm not talking about points, I'm talking about how the team performs on the ice. We are getting outplayed game after game after game. I'm not saying tonight. I'm not saying against Philly. The whole West Coast trip, we were outplayed in every single game. We came away with 7 points. We were dominated on that West Coast team, on the West Coast trip. Every single game, we came away 7 points. Didn't even deserve one. Maybe a loser point with Vancouver. That's it. That's it. Joshua Vass says these are definitely lateral moves, but it shows the mind of Darche buying when he should be selling. See, that's
Agreed.
the issue. Mr. Meat says, yep, it's pretty cold up here. And yes, it is farm country.
Talking about Alberta.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Drew says, I think people forgot our only 2 options at GM were Ken Holland, and we're already decimated the Kings and Darche. Yeah, Holland was not somebody I wanted. Joshua Vest says, nobody's leaving. We're not selling, period. Darche's actions have shown us this already. Why, Son X, are you still thinking we're going to sell? Come back to reality. See, that's
I have hope that we're going to sell. I mean, that's all. I just have hope that we're going to sell. I hope he'll do the right thing. I hope ownership will think long term as opposed to filling their pockets. But it's probably not going to happen.
No, we're not selling. We're not selling. Freedom Fund Rancher says, Grumpy, doesn't matter about Mayfield because Lou gave him a no trade. Edmonton was just one team that twice offered a first-round pick for Mayfield. Scott refused to waive. Again, why are you giving a no trade clause to a guy who's a bottom pairing defenseman on a 7-year contract at 3.25 per? You see how dumb that is? And I'm Scott Mayfield's biggest fan. It's just dumb. It's dumb asset management. We talked about it in real time. This is not Monday morning quarterbacking. This is real time. Dumb. Really stupid. Going to be paying a guy till he's 35, 36 years old, that type of money as a bottom pairing defenseman. Yikes. Freedom Fundamental says, Son X, Holland's interviewed many GMs. No one turned the job down. No, that's not true. Holland put out in something he wasn't interested. He had the LA job and family ties to the West Coast, but no one said the Islanders wanted to interview him. Yeah, nobody wanted Holland. I thought that would have been a terrible hire because he wanted to bring in his own Fredo. That's what he wanted to do, bring his own Fredo in to, ride his dad's coattails. We already had that. Freedom Fundamental says, so Darche and the others competed for the job and was determined to be the best candidate. Other candidates struggled to find work. There weren't that many GM jobs open. Moose Jaw Sasquatch says the St. Louis Blues are open for business. Would you part with your first-round picks and or prospects if Robert Thomas is available? Why would you move multiple picks for Robert Thomas? I mean, how old is Robert Thomas? I don't even know how old he is, honestly.
Go look it up.
Okay. Joshua Vass says, maybe Shedeur Sanders has it in that everyone knows about, but nobody acknowledges his father. Well, yeah, that's true.
He's 26.
Okay, 26. See, I'm not giving multiple first-round picks for him. Robert TV says, Grumpy, I'm confused. Aitchison comes in for Pellick in a few years. There's room for him in 2 to 3 years. Can trade him. Pretty sure the no-trade contract is over by then. Aitchison needs to get better. I will say that.
He has the possibility. He's still young.
He was terrible in the World Junior.
He's still young.
Terrible. He was terrible in the preseason. I was surprised with how small he looked. Shocked, actually. Shocked. And he's got to get the Romanoff out of his game. That's the biggest thing. It's not about lining guys up and hitting them all over the ice. Got to play defense, be positionally sound. Can he learn that? Hopefully. But the position he's playing in juniors right now is not something he's going to play in the NHL. That much I can tell you. Where he's like the center guy on the power play, and it's not what he's going to be here. Sorry. David Sean McDonald says, Grumpy, I agree with you most of the time, but not this time. I don't think it's as bad as you're making out. We're still moving in the right direction. If we don't move guys at the deadline, we're not moving in the right direction.
I agree with that. And last comment of the night, Grumpy.
Joshua Vass says, Sonex hit it on the head. Why haven't we run into a weak GM? It's because we have the weak GM, the weakest GM, LOL. True.
Yep. All right. Anything you want to say, Grumpy, before we log off?
Yes, regardless of how we feel about the Islanders today, I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from Son X and the Grumpy Old Man.
Yep. And I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening as always. Love the interaction in the comments. Sell, sell, sell. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks, Grumpy.
My pleasure.